Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Daniel Dura. Currently based in the Salt Lake City area, Daniel Dura is the co-founder and CEO of Graphium Health and FieldMed. Graphium Health creates innovative mobile-based software for anesthesia that supports all back-office functions so healthcare providers can focus more on their patients and less on managing their business. FieldMed, which officially launched in October 2019, is the first ever dedicated cloud-based community health software platform designed to foster the success of emerging community health programs nationwide. Within these two roles, Daniel works to create and build software that makes an impact not only for medical professionals who use it, but also for the patients who benefit from it. Well, good afternoon, Danny. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Brian. How are you doing?
Awesome. Glad you jumped on today. I want to talk some more tech today. Like I said, I do podcasts every day, sometimes multiple times a day. But having you on to talk a little bit about the tech, and you're an entrepreneur, obviously, but also, I have a health tech background as well. So I'm excited to jump into these questions here. So Danny, you've got quite the career in tech, as I mentioned, as a software engineer, as an entrepreneur, and now you're the CEO and founder at Graphium Health. If I said that correctly.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome.
Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
Wow. I mean, that's a big question. I've kind of run the gamut, starting off as a software engineer at Fujitsu, kind of in the beginning of my career about 20 years ago, all the way to now being an entrepreneur, co-founder. I think the secret really is just find things that you love doing, right? I mean, that's the first thing, because, if you're looking to become an entrepreneur or kind of move into that world, you got to find something to hold on to, because there are days where you start questioning yourself, days where you wonder if I've made the right decision or not. And so having that passion for what you do really helps. It helps you through those times, and then gives you something to kind of hold on to. It's where creativity, I think, is really born. And so whether it was, working at Adobe and Macromedia on just technologies that I loved, or if it was here with Graphium Health doing something in healthcare where I feel like I'm having an impact and doing something interesting, I found things that I love to learn about and love to do. And I think that really is kind of the secret to, growing your career. It kind of happens as a natural outgrowth of that passion that you find.
That's awesome. And you're absolutely right. I hear it every day about having that passion, because, there are days, and we all know this, I experience it, where it's just like, oh my gosh, this is a grind, but yeah. but your purpose, your why, and the fact that you're helping somebody out there continues to, move you forward. So I appreciate the share. And so, Danny, let's talk about the pandemic a little bit. Hopefully it's going away forever, at least during our lifetimes, right?
We hope.
What are your plans for business growth going forward? And will it be any different than the last 15 months?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I don't think any of us obviously could foresee it. There were some things where I realized it was kind of business as normal, and other areas where things have completely changed. I mean, we've run a remote company for about 5 years. And so for us, everybody working at home wasn't really anything different for us. And so we kind of didn't have to settle into that at first, like I know many organizations did. But, for us, going forward, it's really, especially in healthcare, I think people are more interested in adopting new technologies, which is interesting. We've seen this in the enterprise space, just Fortune 500 companies who are now adopting, Zoom and other things to kind of optimize their remote workforce. But for healthcare, they had to adapt very quickly, and they're not used to that. They usually have a lot more time to think about things. So for us, it was, being able to look at healthcare and say, okay, we have a customer base that's now so much more willing to adopt new technologies and try new things. How can we take advantage of that? And so for us, looking forward, we're really trying to evaluate what are the areas that we know we can have an impact, that we can really affect not only patient care, but also just the business of healthcare and make it run more efficiently and more affordably. But, how can we really take these technologies, such as, whether it's telehealth or analytics or data, and put those in place to really benefit these people when they're more willing to adopt new technologies? And so, I think the pandemic's really been, it's had some silver linings. No doubt it's created a lot of hard situations for a lot of people. But, we tend to try to look at and say, where have we benefited from this? And I think that, this is one area where suddenly healthcare organizations are saying, hey, what can we do different now? And it's not that hard to kind of adopt new technologies.
I love that. And you're absolutely right, Danny. This acceleration of innovation and transformation during the pandemic was certainly the silver lining out of this. But I'm just blown away by the fact that, a lot of people, including startups like yourself, didn't even blink an eye. And that's what's simply amazing. It shows the human spirit for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, you kind of have to, right? As a business, you kind of have to look at the situation and just move forward. And I think that's what a lot of us did. We said, how can we lean into this situation and just make the best of what is something really hard that we're all going through? But I think a lot of us came out of it on the positive end of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the share on that. So, Danny, this is what we love to talk about here as a technology publication. We talk about different emerging technologies, but you're obviously leveraging some new and emerging tech within your tech stack, right? Is there anything you might be able to share with us today?
Yeah, I mean, there's always something new. It seems like, I think we've all been doing this long enough now. We've seen technologies come and go. But the reality is, every time you blink your eye, there's something new. For a while, it was the communication technologies and media technologies, and then it kind of moved into AI and analytics. I think a lot of it right now is the kind of advancement that we're seeing in how development works, right? As a software-based product company, our innovation is key to our business, and the quicker we can move, the quicker we can do things for our customers. And I think for a long time, the technology was around things our customers see, but I think now, and we've used those, whether it's analytics or messaging or whatever it is. But really, it's like, how do we make our development team as efficient as possible? Because a lot of the things that we're doing to help meet the needs of our customers, really help solve those problems that they have, means that we have to move extremely quickly. We have to be able to adapt very quickly. And so, there's a lot of development technologies out there in the DevOps space and the continuous operation space that allow us to move very quickly. And for us, I think it's how do we take that, implement it into our team and let our developers and our product team move more quickly. Because if we can do that, then we're able to deliver more capability, more products to our customers more quickly. And I think that's where, you're starting to see a lot of kind of the technology kind of evolve is how do we make developers themselves more efficient?
I love that. Yeah, there's so many platforms. I talk to people every day that are in your space and doing what you do and leveraging some of the latest things that allow more productivity, more efficiency to roll things out quicker to customers. I appreciate the share.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, Danny, let's talk here. Last question. Can you share something from your career experience that might be helpful for those looking to grow their career in either tech or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I think the most important lesson I think I can tell people is be willing to reinvent yourself. There's whether you're in technology or entrepreneurship, I think technologists are a little more geared towards this. We realize that, every 6 to 12 months, everything changes, right? We've kind of constantly have to be learning, constantly have to let go of the things that we've done in the past and learn the new things. And that's how you're successful in software. But it's really no different for someone who's wanting to be an entrepreneur. It takes an immense amount of, humility to say, how can I reinvent myself in the next 6 months? What parts of my job can I give up to someone else or do in a different way that could lead to my company growing or my company being better? And that's hard, right? Because we hold on to these things that we've learned over time. And, again, it takes humility to say, look, I don't know what's coming next. I have a lot of faith that if I let go of these tasks or I let go of this part of my job and I turn it over to somebody else, that there's going to be something else there. But the reality is there always is. I mean, I think, if you reinvent yourself every 6 months, you're going to realize pretty quick that every 6 months, there's something else waiting for you there. And so as an entrepreneur, you just have to embrace that change and embrace that kind of fear that, what is my job if it isn't what it is today? And so if you can do that, though, I think that's where successful entrepreneurs come, successful leaders. They're the ones who are constantly reinventing themselves and finding ways to kind of let go of the things that they're kind of holding on to.
Thank you again, Danny. I appreciate the share. That's certainly helpful. Again, little gems, little nuggets Collectively, these podcasts have truly helped other professionals, technologists, and entrepreneurs out there in our audience. So thank you again. And Danny, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say anytime.
Absolutely. Danny, it was a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
Bye for now.